Hi friends, I'm Lisa, Little Annie Z on Instagram, and this is my mom and my Flosstube channel, Little Annie Z and Mama Z. I'm coming on today really quickly because I have some FFOs I wanted to show you, and next week, a week from today, next Tuesday, I believe it is, my mom and I are going to be on together. So I'm going to share more at that time, but I did want to share my FFOs with you and a little extra, some things at the end. So thanks for hanging out with me for a few minutes. I hope you all had a wonderful Christmas season. I took some great time to just stitch and sew, and I'm just happy to be back in the swing of things, but it was really nice to have some time off. So let me jump right in by showing you my FFOs. I have a couple framed finishes. My first one is my birthday start from last year, Mary Cornwall 1827, and I wanted to stitch her because I have the same birthday as Mary. I changed it up a little bit. The initials under the crowns, I put some women of the Reformation, and I think I wrote them down. I'll share with you who they are. But here's my finish. I started this with my friend Carolee. She was so sweet to start it with me. Sorry for the glare. I have a window and a light right near me. So these are the initials that I changed. It has glass on it. I don't usually use glass, but because I used MPI silk, I like to put glass over my silks. I got this frame from Amazon. I just took my measurements and I just plugged those into Amazon and I ordered it. Don't remember, who the maker of the frame is. So I did this on 40 count, Be Stitch Me, one more reproduction. NPI Silk Floss number 572. So I started this on my birthday in 2025 and I finished it November of 2025. Let's see. Okay, so the female revivalists and women of the Reformation that I've read about, and you'll see right here going across, Olympia Murata, Charlotte Arbalest, Sarah Edwards, and Susanna Spurgeon. So these are women that span decades that I read about that I admired. So I put their initials there since I finished it just after the Reformation, I believe, which is Halloween. And then I finished my blessing sampler. This is Lover of My Soul from Needle Art, from the Heart Needle Art by Wendy. And this is my finish. This is a 5x7 standard frame that I plugged it in there. And I don't have the specifics. I stuck it underneath the backing of the frame, so I don't have it. Actually, let me see. Let me put this down because I think I can tell you. I usually write it on the pattern. Ooh, I got pretty close there. I love the verse. The verse says, Jesus, lover of my soul, let me to thy bosom fly, while the gathering waters roll, while the tempest still is nigh. 40 count, picture this plus fog. So it fit in a standard 5x7 using a 40 count. And I used various weeks dye works over dyed cottons. I did substitute all but 2 of them. Yeah, so that's my blessing sampler finished. I love it. It's so cute and tiny. It goes on my nautical wall. I have a kind of a corner, a nautical corner. Anything with waters and billows and things like that, boat, anything like that, I'll stick in that corner. And then my next FFO was my Swoon 16. So I did this with French General Le Grand Soirée fabric line. And I did a kind of a self-binding, I call it. And here's my finish. It's so heavy and warm. You guys, I love it so much. The background ivory and the blue is French General. Just the plain solids. Let's see how I can open this up for you. This is my backing. This is also a French General, but a different line. I forget the line that this is from. But here it is. So if you don't know what Swoon 16 is, there's 16 by 16 inch blocks. And when you do a self-binding, basically the outer border is going to be your binding. I didn't do an inner border on this. I just did an outer border, which is my binding. It is recommended to hand tie or stitch in the ditch just to secure your layers. I have not done that. But I might. This is a very, it came out larger than I really thought it was gonna come out, but I love it. So that's Swoon 16. And let me tell you how to do the outer binding, or the quilts without binding. You do have to stitch, so let me back up. You put the batting on the bottom, the backing right side up, and then the quilt top on top of that, right side down. So your layers are starting from the bottom, the batting, the backing right side up, and then the quilt top right side down. And you stitch around and leave an opening and turn it, and then you stitch that opening closed. For me, I love the look of bound quilts, but this is much more enjoyable and my work comes out much neater doing it this way. And I keep all my little notes of things that I do craft-wise in this little drawer on index cards. That way, if I don't do a self-bound quilt in a while and I want to do one, I don't have to look it up. I could just pull my card. Okay, the next FFO I did comes from the Prairie Home book by Lori Holt. And I wanted to do the Prairie Bonnet, which is right here. On Fat Quarter Shop, the book gives a measurement of fabric you need for the entire quilt, which I didn't have time or the headspace to figure out what it would be for one single block. You do need the book to find out what the measurements are. But Fat Quarter Shop has a free download because they did a sew-along. And this is the one block. So on this side, they give you how many you need of each square or rectangle, but they don't give you the measurement. So you need the book to find out what the measurement is. There are several blocks in this book that they have a free download like this for a single block for. So you can check that out. And I wanted to make a fabric, a stitching folder. So I used Lori Holt Fat Quarter Club, the Fat Quarter Club for January. Most of these fabrics I think are from January to make this bonnet in violet shades. And so there's medium weight fusible fleece on the inside, and the lining is just like a fabric I got at Hobby Lobby or something like that. So I used the same technique as I did with my Swoon 16. I just layered it and I turned it, and then I stitched the bottom closed here. And then the felt just is loose, it's stitched down the middle. What I like to do when I'm stitching on darker fabrics, I lay this on my lap and I can see through the holes because of the white. And it really helps me. And I just lay my floss and my scissors and everything right on top. The pattern goes in there, my hoop, my fabric, and then I can just close it up and put it in my whip basket. So, and it's good for on the go too. If you're like at a doctor's office or in the car and you want to stitch, you don't have to like, you know, worry about getting all your stuff back in a stitch case or a project bag. You just fold it right up and put it in your purse or your bag or whatever. So I love this block. I've been itching to do this block. So I made a fabric folder. I call it a fabric folder. It's a stitching folder. And then I worked up a floss flat plus. This is from Christine Sherman. She is on Etsy. I've linked her before. In fact, I linked her, I believe, to my last video. So you can check that out. I do tag her on Instagram a lot because I sew her project folders all the time. Her patterns are so easy to follow, and they're super cute. So I made one using Williamsburg Reproduction fabrics. So it's really cute. This holds, and you'll probably see this again in the next Flosstube that I do with my mom. I tie it closed with some velvet ribbon, dark green. You'll see this when I started. I had plans to start something special in February, but this is what it looks like when you open it. So you keep your floss here. There's a pocket, a zipper, a pocket, and a pocket. It's a Lori Holt hole. So I'll share more of what that is next week. Okay, and then I do want to share two more things. My mom, years ago, started the Raven when it first came out. And she did 5 blocks, I believe. And I asked her, I said, Mom, did you ever finish that? She goes, no, do you want to finish it? And I was so excited So she gave me all of her finished blocks plus all the fabric and stuff that I would need to finish it. So there's one block that has not been appliqued yet that she did. It's right here. So all I have to do is stitch that down. My mother's work is impeccable. It's just flawless. And these are the blocks that she's already put onto the fabric. And I'm in love with these, mostly because she did them. And I get to finish something that she started. Honestly, I don't think I'll be able to do as good of work as she does here, but I'm going to give it a shot. I've never done anything like this. And this is the last one. I'm going to love doing this. Okay. And then I have a Living on the Selvedge update for you. So I'm going to show you two things. I'm going to post to Instagram after this video loads. And it's a smaller version. I have two options, two to list. It's a smaller needlework folder. So like the bonnet one. So these are done, both of these are done in Liberty fabrics on the outside, and the Lori Holt fabrics on the lining on the inside. So these are approximately 9.5 by 9.5. And here's the back. This is Liberty Flower Shop, I think it's called, fabric. But with this comes a coordinating skein of DMC, a selvage tassel with different little strips of ribbon. I got some vintage ribbon in here, some linen, actual linen scraps, some velvet ribbon. It's tied with a bead and a little bow on the back. A scissor keeper, covered button scissor keeper, and a pair of scissors with a sheath. So you get all of that together, because when I wanted to share with you how I stitch on my lap, and I can close everything up just like I explained with the bonnet one. So you get all of that together. It all coordinates. So I'll post some close-up pictures for you on Instagram, Little Annie Z. So if you don't follow me, send me a request. I do have it a private setting, but if I see that you follow Stitchers that I follow, and you have an actual profile picture, I will usually accept. Here's the second one. I love these for the springtime. Same fabric collection. The front and back is the same on this one. And then on the inside, there's Lori Holt fabric. And with this, you get all the same things. Coordinating skein of DMC, a scissor keeper. These are pretty strong, actually. And a pair of scissors, coordinating scissors with a sheath. There you go. And when I have this on my lap, I do put my scissors on the ring. But, excuse me, I did want to give you guys a scissor minder so that you can stick it right on your lap when you're stitching. And then coordinating tassel, again, different vintage ribbons and linen, some other ribbons tied with some beads, a little bow. The other one had beads too. I'm sure you saw it, I just don't know if I pointed it out. So I've got both of these that I'm gonna list as available on my Instagram. And I think that's everything that I had for you. So watch us next week. Wait till you see what my mother made all the girls in the family. I was floored. We all were floored. I'll bring it to show and share at that time. But you guys have a good day, and I'll catch you over on Instagram. Bye.